This is a 2020 Volvo S60, and it is a Swedish luxury sedan. And today, I'm going to show you why. I ordered this S60 from our local Volvo dealership because our XC90 has having some problems again. But anyways, I'm now gonna be showing you why it is a Swedish luxury sedan. Let's start off with a little bit of an overview of the S60. It debuted in the year 2000. That's almost 20 years ago, and it is still on sale today. There were 3 generations of this car. The first one was from the year 2000 to 2010. They sold all of those cars, and that was the first generation of the S60. In 2010, the company did a redesign on the S60, and it was the previous generation, and that sold for another 8 years, just like that. And this year, they have the 3rd generation S60, which got redesigned in 2018 and is still being sold today. In those years, you have the refresh of the S60 and the facelift and then the cross-country version. But this is the new S60. Today, there are actually 4 versions of this car that you can buy. First one is the one I have here. This is the normal Momentum model, the one you'll probably see most often. It's in everyone's price range. Then you have the R-Design, which is the nice sporty looking one. And then you have the Inscription, which has the nice leather and makes it look like a nicer luxury car. Then you have the Polestar, which is Volvo's sport brand, and that's like a combination between a petrol engine or a gas engine in English, and then a hybrid engine. Showing behind you is priced at $47,000, so it's a pretty nicely loaded Momentum, and it has the T6 engine, the more powerful 316 horsepower engine. And now, with the overview on the way, let's get right into all the quirks and features of the Volvo S60. I want to start off in the interior of the Volvo S60, and to start off with the start-stop switch. Really, that it's kind of odd. So just normally in previous Volvo S60 models, there's a key, some down here, there's a keyhole, some down here, or there's a button somewhere up here. But in this one, it actually starts up like every single other Volvo model on sale. You put your foot on the brake and turn this little knob to start. And I like how it's so satisfying when you turn this really nicely aluminum finished knob and the car roars to life. Just take a listen. I find it so satisfying. I don't know what it is, but I just think that's so satisfying. Another interesting quirk of the Volvo S60 is the steering column. In a $47,000 sedan, Volvo still has a manual steering column. I find this so strange because in the $35,000 Tesla Model 3, their steering column is automatic. I find this extremely weird, and even in the $100,000 Volvo XC90 Excellence, the steering column is manual. Not like that is a bad thing, but I feel like in this premium of a luxury sedan, the steering column should at least be automatic. It's a nice feature to have. Interesting quirk about the S60 is the trim. Now you can have the car optioned off with a aluminum trim, which this one has, or the wood trim. However, the trim only goes on this side of the car. I find this so strange in the new Volvo models that they don't have it on the door or anything. The door is just a tan and then this material. So the trim is only on the dashboard, and that always very confuses me. Why do you want to have the trim on the dashboard when you can have it on the door panels or something? I find this super strange. Interesting quirk about the Volvo S60 is this button right here. I watched Steven say that it isn't even a button. Volvo uses the exact same what is it called? Center stack, I would have to say, in all of their cars. So all this piece right here with all the buttons and the volume knob on it is in all the cars. So, and Volvo decided not to change it for the S60 and decided to put this line here, which this button should automatically open the glove box. But as you can see, the glove box is one of those glove boxes that's manual. So Volvo decided to not do anything with this button and just leave it blank, which is interesting. One thing I love love about the Volvo S60, and an interesting feature that this car has, is the Harman Kardon sound system. This sound system is a part of the multimedia package, so it does cost extra, but it is definitely worth it. Just take a listen.
Till I walk in.
It's so clear. It's amazing. Why does this come standard on all cars? Okay, anyways, moving on from that dance party, I want to talk to you about the trunk of this car, which is very interesting, to be fair. Let me show you. Package where it's an automatic opening trunk. So you hold down the key, the trunk button on the key, and the trunk automatically opens. Really nice, right? So then you go to get your things, right? And then you go up to close it. When you see that there's this button here, you can see that they decided that this is the button you see on cars where there should be an automatic close button. This car, apparently Volvo decided to not develop a separate single button, so they decided just to leave it blank. So when you always go up to remember to close your trunk, you should have bought that option. But anyways, there still is this button, so you go to press it and nothing happens. That's because that it's actually supposed to be closed manually. So you're telling me that I get the option to have an automatic opening trunk, but I have to close it automatically. Which, I know that Volvo, this isn't a normal base model S60 and everything, but why do you have that button there in the first place? How hard is it to unlock, get your stuff out of the trunk, close it, and then lock it with your key fob with keyless entry? Like, how hard is that to do? Next, I want to talk about the back seat. This is the passenger seat. This is where I would sit, and I have a decent amount of legroom. I am 5'2", if you're wondering, and I have a decent, substantial amount of legroom. The only thing I don't like is how deep this car sits. I mean, it is a sport sedan, so it should sit kind of deep. It does have the sport package, so the suspension is lowered. But, I mean, I can get definitely really comfortable here, but the one thing I don't like is how deep this sits and how the armrest is kind of high, and I feel like that I'm like sitting in a hole, like there's like the door is kind of high, this part here is kind of high, so I'm not too sure how I feel about the back seat. I think it's very roomy for long trips, but I'm not too sure if Volvo really designed this armrest quite well, but overall the back seat, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. As well, as you can see, that there is this storage cubby, which is enough to fit an Apple Watch, as you can see. It's perfect for my Apple Watch. As well, you have heated seats back here, but this over here should be the rear climate. However, this car doesn't have it, but it has the heated seats, so they decided to put buttons there, which I find kind of interesting. So, overall, this back seat, it's decent for this kind of car, but I think that Volvo should have probably raised it up a little bit higher, because, I mean, I don't really know if I can really sit back here for a couple hours. I think I can sit back here for a substantial amount of time, but I'll give the back seat an 8 out of 10. What about the S60 is the seat folding down process. Let's envision this, okay? You're coming from Home Depot, you're building a new bed, right? So you go, and the S60 is the only car you have. So you go up to open the trunk, and you're seeing that all these planks of wood will not fit inside of it. So you go down to each seat and fold them down. Simple, right? So you come up here, and you can see that there was no button or anything, and you can see that there obviously is no button. So you go down, you go around to the other side, right? And you can see that you have 2 buttons up here. This button to drop the headrest and unlock both of the seats, right? So you do both of the seats, you press the other button for the second seat, and there you go. And then you have it fully flat. And then you go back around, and to see that you have the SCC, you basically have a fully flat floor. The thing that's really annoying is that you have to have this not fully flat and have the seatbelt attached to the thing. This seatbelt doesn't attach, so it's a really big hassle to fold the seats down. But all you have to do to put them back up is put them back up, and that's basically that. It's pretty simple actually. But again, I find it's a pain that why did Volvo decide to put the seats buttons back over there? Very interesting is the backup camera, and I think it's probably the best backup camera it's got. So you put your foot on the brake, go into reverse, and as you can see, you have a super clear backup camera as well as a picture of the car down here. This car picture is to show you what's everything around you when you go back. And as well as you have this amazing feature called zoom, which you can see the ground more, so you can, when you back out of a parking space, you can see the lines, or when you're backing into a space, you can see the lines as well, which I find a great feature. All the very interesting quirks and features about the brand new Volvo S60. In my mind, I absolutely love this car, and it is a great Volvo sports sedan. However, there's just a couple things I obviously don't like about it that really don't make sense. If you're really gonna get an S60, I think you should definitely spend a little bit more and get the nicer features with it. 'Cause I feel like base, they're really just I think in the base model, like the Momentum, like this one, I just don't think you're getting what you're worth for. And for what in the car you should be getting, what you're worth for is a Tesla Model 3, and that car is worth every penny. But for this car, I give it a 8 out of 10 of a Shep's Tech Reviews car score, if that's even a thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash that like button. Consider subscribing. I'm coming out with car reviews more often now. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.